Look, I'm a black man living in America, dog. I've accepted that there are things that will not change in this country until I am long gone. I'm torn up on the inside, right? I'm torn up because I truly understand how frustrating it is. How frustrating it is to have a government and this two-party system that we're all trapped in. And I try to fight against it, and I have been fighting against it for a number of years. And I know how that feels. I know what's going on. I'm right there with you. My cynicism about our system and the way I think the way that it's designed to squash independent parties, to squash independent thought, my cynicism about our media, the strength of corporations and their ability to squash unions, the strength of big money interests in our politics and its influence, the influence on media and how media has taken money and made that more important than disseminating the truth to people. And then there's the easiness or it seems easy, right? That a lot of people are led astray by corporate media. So all these things are very daunting things. And it troubles me, man, and it rips me up. And if you're like me, you go through this, right? But since I do this constantly, this is what I do every day. I don't get up and go do something else and come home and do this. I'm always surrounded by this. Folks, you don't understand. I dream about doing this show. I literally have dreams about interviewing people, doing shows, and in this media business. This is what I do. I mean, this is everything. This is not just a job. I had jobs. I didn't dream about doing the job. I dreamt about going to work, but I never dreamt about doing the job. I actually dream about different aspects of what I do and dream of ideas. I wake up out of my sleep and I come up with a word or a phrase and I write it down. I got a pad next to my bed. Folks, I'm in this to win this. I'm telling you all that to try to tell you this. I don't have much faith that Americans are going to get anything out of Joe Biden or out of this two-party system. I just don't. And any little thing that we get that's beneficial at all to people, I'm like, wow, good. Good, very good, very good. Because we have no control over what our government does. I know it's not supposed to be that way, but that's the way I feel it is. I feel like we have no real say. Who has say? Big money donors, corporations, who fund the candidates, who fund the parties, and that's who has the most influence. So whenever we get something like in this latest $1.9 trillion stimulus package, there are some things in it that will help some people that I know, that will help people in my family. And I know it's not enough. It's damn sure not enough. It's not what I wanted. I wanted $15 minimum wage. I want $25 minimum wage. You don't want to ask me what I want. Okay, I want reparations. I want to end qualified immunity. I want to end mass incarceration. I want to legalize cannabis. I want all people locked up for simple possession of marijuana, black folks to have the ability to open up their own distilleries, their own cannabis shops. There's so much that I want. I want the ability for Native people to be able to sue the government for tainting their water. I want the people in Flint to be able to sue the pants off of Michigan and then the federal government and then Obama himself for the tainting of their water. We don't want to talk about what I want, because what I want, we could go on and on and on and on forever about what Tim Black wants. I want every cop that killed an unarmed black man, from Jonathan Farrell to Tamir Rice to Eric Garner to George Floyd, to rot in fucking hell. That's what I want. Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland, I want them all, I want their killers to all rot in jail. I want their cities to have to pay and then to go after those cops and take their fucking pensions and put them in jail. That's what I want. So let's not talk about what I want, because if we talk about what I want, you ain't ready for what I want. And thinking about what I want compared to what we're getting, only makes me angry enough to bust a blood vessel. And we're not operating in the space of what I want. We're not operating in the space of what you want. There was a study put out a few years ago there was a study put out that showed the likelihood of something passing Congress and becoming an actual thing in our system. And the difference between probability of that happening when it's something we want and when it's something the corporations want. And it was like 3-to-1 or 4-to-1, some crazy amount of difference between the likelihood of it happening when we want it and when they want it. When they want it, it was like 5 times more likely to become a thing. Okay? So what we want don't really matter. And I don't like accepting that. I don't want to accept that. So back to my point, guys. Here's the thing. It's not, for me, it's not about becoming an incrementalist. It's not about becoming accepting or giving into the system. Look, I'm outside the system. What are you talking about? It's about saying anything that I get from my people, the people. Anything we get from the people, I'm happy for that to happen. That doesn't mean I think it's enough. If we'd have got $15 an hour, there are people that think if we'd have got $15 an hour, our problems are solved. No, there's just been one thing. It would have took 5 years to get that, to $15 an hour. By the time we get to $15 an hour, it'll be worth $10. Okay? That's how this works. So it's like a no-win. It's like anything we get is a marginal win. So we either lose or we marginally get a benefit. Okay? That's how it's working. We lose or we get a marginal benefit, a very small benefit. It's sort of like you're still a slave, but we're not going to beat you today. Or you're still a slave, or this time we're not going to hit you in the face. You're a punching bag, but this time, no face shots. Okay? That's our country. And no, I'm not happy that I'm still getting punched in the stomach and kicked in the ass. But I'm tired of the face shots. We're tired of the beatings. So I'm not happy about the 1.9 stimulus package as if it's a gift. It ain't a fucking gift, it's my government. The blood of my ancestors are in this country, in the soil. My dad was a veteran of this United States of America Army. Went to Vietnam. Should have died a better death than he died. We all have our stories. We all have our axes to grind. All of us, I'm sure we do. But I'm not saying I'm happy about it. What I'm saying is I have a daughter that's a single mom, and I'm glad that she's getting a check to help with the kids because I can't afford to take care of it all myself. Do you understand what I'm saying, dog? Do you understand that? I'm not saying I'm happy going, yay! Yay! Money! We finally get money! I love the Democrats. No, I'm happy that the $300 child credit will get that for a year because I have kids to take care of. I know you're not happy. You're pissed. You don't have kids. Some people do have kids, Johnson. I know you may not have kids. It's not fair that you don't have kids. But you know what's also not fair? Or you know what else is a reality? You don't have kids to pay for. That's kind of how this works. You don't get that deduction, but you also don't have kids you got to provide for during a pandemic when you have no job. Like my daughter doesn't have a job right now. You understand how that works? So no, you're not benefiting from it, but you're also not having to pay for it. That don't mean to get so personal because it's not I shouldn't be getting that personal. I care about me, but not about people in my family. The point is this, guys. I just want to clear it up so people understand. I'm not cheerleading for the Democratic Party stimulus package, but it's a reality check for you all. The Republicans didn't want to give you that. And don't tell me they did. Donald Trump and Republicans cut every social contract with the American people during his reign. That's what all the stupid ass tweets were about. If you didn't have time to pay attention to that, he was cutting every social program. Then I don't know what to tell you, dog. So it's a game they play. One is worse than the other. I know, Johnson. But unlike you, I feel the need to give people hope. And I want to report something other than the world is falling, the sky is falling, let's all cry together and go join the Boogaloo Boys and try to overthrow the government. That's not the shit I'm on. I understand that's your thing. It's not for me, okay? I'm more of a motivational, inspirational type of guy. I'm more of an optimist, and I think there's hope. I don't really know the basis of it in concrete terms, or what's really the thing I can hang my hat on and say, this is hopeful for, this is to be hopeful for, but I want to believe that there's hope. Because if you don't believe that there's hope, that there's a possibility of better, then what are we doing this for? What am I doing it for? What are you doing it for? So all I'm trying to explain to folks is, I understand your frustration. Your frustration is my frustration. There's some people complaining about stimulus checks who make so much money they don't qualify for them. And look, it's not that's good. You did well. Fantastic. Fantastic. Good for you. I understand. There's some people complaining about stimulus checks who made so much money last year they don't qualify for them. And it's not because, and this year they're doing so bad, they're not those people that fell through the cracks or the gaping holes that we hear so much talk about. These are people that are literally making more money than Congress people who are doing this business that I'm doing. They're in the same line of business that I am. They don't qualify for anything because they make too much money. And stop thinking I'm just talking about one person. Just because I don't name names does not mean everything's about, okay? There's other people that exist in this space, okay? So do not let the fact that this is all garbage and this is all shit and it won't be better. Look, I'm a black man living in America, dog. I have accepted that there are things that will not change in this country until I am long gone, and everyone who's known me, everyone that I knew, have all passed away. I accept that that is part of life. My dad accepted it. My grandfather accepted it. His father accepted it. What we hope to do is move the needle a little bit during our brief time, the brief stay on this ball of cheese. Do you understand? That is all I can hope for. And that is still so much more than most black people, generation after generation, had an opportunity to ever dream of. There's somewhere in time, if I could hurl myself through time, there would be ancestors of mine looking at me, if they could imagine the life that I have now, they would be like, wow, they could not even fathom that I have a home that I live in with my kids, and I'm not a slave, and I can vote, and these things, okay? Not saying it's everything. And what I'm telling you is, I look at these things and I say, I'm gonna expect, we're only here for a brief moment, Johnson. I don't know what your expectations are, but every little bit of good that we get that moves this thing forward, that helps any of us, I'm glad it happened. And I want to give power to the people and respect to those who make that happen. And we're in a very bad situation where we are caught between these parties that play this good cop, bad cop. I'm not as racist as that racist. I'm not as colonialist. I want to bomb, but I don't want to bomb as much as the other party. Like, we're caught in the middle of this. And all I'm saying is, if we can find a way, how about we not eat each other because of it? because we didn't create this shit. I didn't create it, you didn't create it. I'm not here to continue it or perpetuate it. That's not what I'm here to do. That's not my goal. So the core tenets of what I'm about, what Tim Black wants, long list. Medicare for all, end qualified immunity, close the racial wealth gap, end mass incarceration, bring our troops home, stop censorship, stop spying on our people, stop dropping bombs on brown people around the globe, stop meddling in Latin America, stop doing coups and regime change and colonization across the globe. These are all things I want, man. You don't have to like me, but don't. I would appreciate it is if you could just say, I just disagree with him. I like this other person more. That's fine. Everyone has their preferences. I get it, dog. Don't attribute bullshit to me that's not real, that's not true. We don't have to agree. You don't have to like me. You don't have to view. You don't have to, but for those that understand where I'm coming from, I respect the hell out of you. We're all Johnsons, and I want to grow this community. And we're going to do, in our brief time that's left to us, is allotted to us, I hope that we can galvanize and push for things that matter, that change, that literally change people's lives, and that we're alive to see it happen. Not just for ourselves, but for the people we want to help make the change for. And some of it we might not be here to see. And that's the deal, Johnson. And that's how it works. But to be a part of that, to leave that legacy. So let's try not, once again, let's try not to allow this system that none of us created. None of us created this shit, man. If you and I could sit down and think of a system, we wouldn't have thought of this. A system where corporations, rich multinational corporations get to rape workers. A system where politicians can be funded totally by corporations and outside influences and big money interests and not funded by the people and still win elections. And we still call it a democracy. Right? We would have never came up with this. Not if we were good people. You know what I'm saying? So somehow we got to find hope to move on and hope to go forward. And I just wish you all the best. And I don't want for myself anything more or better than what I want for you. I want us all to have a level of peace and ability to raise our children and to wake up in the morning and not want to eat a bullet. That's what I want. That's really what I want. And for us not to feel hopeless. That's just how I was raised, man. Not one of these people that can live in despair. It's not good for my psychological outlook. It's not good for my kids, Mrs. Black, or my world. Just because I choose this way does not mean I don't recognize what we're up against. All right, guys, I could keep going on that rant. I'm going to leave it there and just say, I love you. I got love for you. This is a Tim Black Show. I'm your host, Tim Black. We'll come right back with some stories. I want to talk about a smear artist, a Paige Shield. Let me ask you something. Do they know us? When I say they, I mean the talking heads on cable news. Do they know you? I mean, they talk about the world as if it's a sport. They play political games, report on our pain, rack our brain to feed the stock exchange, but do they know us? Do they know what we care about? Nope. They're too far away. They can't see us. They can't feel us. They can't relate to us. See, when you want to know what's going on in your world, trust someone who lives in your world. Subscribe.